Hidden in the world's most isolated and treacherous landscapes, monks have been silently living extraordinary lives. They possess abilities that seem superhuman. From surviving for years in freezing snow to effortlessly scaling a steep mountain without a safety harness. How are such astonishing feats even possible? These monks hold secrets that continue to amaze us today. Prepare yourself as we reveal the astounding realities behind these mysterious and oldest monks. Number 17, the monk living under snow in Mount Kyash. High in the Himalayas, at 4,000 meters above sea level, lies Mount Kyash, where an extraordinary monk has been living in a snow-covered cave. Despite the harsh conditions, this monk continues to defy human limits by surviving without food and enduring freezing temperatures that would be unbearable for most people. Each day, he steps out of his icy shelter, bathes in the snow, and drinks water from icicles. Simple routines that seem impossible given the extreme environment. The secret to his survival? A deeply rooted spiritual practice that transcends the physical body. Monks like him develop incredible mental strength through techniques like the continuous chanting of sacred mantras. These chants help them stay focused and connected to a higher spiritual state. Another method they employ is called unclutching, which involves releasing tension from the mind and body, allowing them to remain at peace, even in the harshest of conditions. But for this monk, the goal isn't just survival, it's about achieving full immersion in the divine presence of Shiva. Through deep prayer and meditation, he remains in constant connection with the divine, unlocking abilities that seem supernatural. His remarkable feats of endurance are not meant to impress, but to demonstrate the power of spiritual devotion and the incredible capabilities of the human mind when fully aligned with a higher purpose. Number 16, Liu Quan. In 2014, archaeologists discovered a Buddha statue in China that contained the mummified remains of a monk named Liu Quan. This monk belonged to the Chinese school of meditation and had undertaken the practice of self-mummification, a ritual so extreme that it bordered on the mythical. As they examined the statue using modern scanning techniques, experts found Liu Quan seated serenely in the lotus position, his body surprisingly intact despite the passage of hundreds of years. The revelation sent waves through both scientific and spiritual communities, prompting exploration of ancient traditions and preservation methods. But what led to this? Liu Quan's journey into self-mummification wasn't a spontaneous decision, but rather a meticulously planned endeavor rooted in religious fervor and ascetic discipline. Buddhist monks like Liu Quan believed that through extreme austerity, measures such as prolonged fasting, meditation in sealed chambers, and gradual dehydration, they could attain a state of spiritual purity that transcended physical death. This arduous process typically spanned several years, comprising the initial, middle, and final phases. During the initial phase, monks would adopt a diet solely consisting of nuts and seeds. This was followed shortly by the second phase, where their diet would shift to consuming only bark and roots, while engaging in rigorous physical activity to rid their bodies of fat. Ultimately, in the final phase, toxic liquids are ingested to eliminate internal bacteria, leading to death by starvation while meditating in a sealed chamber. The end goal? To become a living Buddha, achieving immortality through perpetual meditation even after death. But this isn't all there is about him. What added another layer of mystique to Liu Quan's story was the discovery of ancient texts inscribed with cryptic symbols alongside his remains. These texts hinted at hidden knowledge and esoteric practices that might have aided monks like Liu Quan in their quest for eternal spiritual transcendence. Scholars are still unraveling the meanings behind these symbols, pondering whether they contain forgotten wisdom or sacred rites lost to time. Number 15. Monk climbs steep mountain without harness. Monks are no strangers to performing awe-inspiring feats that seem beyond the capabilities of ordinary people. In a recent viral video, a monk stunned the world by effortlessly climbing a steep mountain without any safety harness or ropes. The video, shared on Twitter by user Tansu Yegan, shows the monk ascending the rugged slope with nothing but his bare feet, while a woman nearby struggles with climbing gear, including a harness and ropes. What makes this feat so extraordinary? The monk's incredible skill is attributed to years of disciplined practice in yoga, meditation, and breath control. Monks often use specialized breathing techniques to center their focus and maintain control over their bodies, allowing them to perform tasks that most people would find impossible. In the video, while the woman carefully navigates her climb with the assistance of ropes, the monk calmly walks up the mountain as if it were a leisurely hike. The sight left many viewers speechless, and Twitter users couldn't resist chiming in. Comments like "clumsy versus experienced" and "the power of yoga, meditation, and practice" encapsulate the astonishing astonishment that this incredible feat evoked. But is this simply the result of meditation, or is there something more? According to practitioners, monks develop heightened body awareness and mind control through extensive meditation, enabling them to achieve feats that seem to defy physical limitations. By mastering the art of being completely present in the moment, monks can regulate their fear, fatigue, and even physical sensations like pain. Over time, this intense focus and discipline allow them to perform such physically challenging tasks with apparent ease. Number 14. The Mummified Monk of Thailand, Luang Pho Deng. Imagine walking into a peaceful Thai temple and seeing a monk sitting in deep meditation as if he's just taking a short break from his spiritual journey. But this monk, Luang Pho Deng, has been in this state for decades. Fascinating, right? Luang Pho Deng isn't your typical monk. He's a mystery wrapped in saffron robes. Highly respected throughout Thailand, his mummified body is on display at Wat Kunaram Temple on the island of Koh Samui. People from all over the world come to see him, not as something gruesome, but as someone with great spiritual importance. Just being there shows how devoted he was and how much people admire him. What makes Luang Pho Deng truly special is the condition of his body. It's amazingly well preserved, sitting in a meditative position with very little decay, an unusual achievement considering he passed away in 1973. Unlike other mummies that need complex embalming methods or controlled environments to stay intact, Luang Pho Deng's preservation seems almost effortless and natural. His eyes are covered with sunglasses, adding a supernatural yet deeply respectful touch to his already mysterious presence. The sunglasses were put on later to cover his eye sockets after the natural mummification process had happened. Despite the passing years, his skin remains mostly intact, and his posture suggests he's still deeply meditating. This situation raises many questions. Was it a special diet, or maybe certain meditation practices that led to this unusual preservation? Or could it be something even more mystical? These questions linger in the minds of those who come to see him. Number 13. Floating Buddhist Monk Woman, Thailand. In Thai culture, one figure stands out as both mystical and inspiring: the floating Buddhist monk woman. This unique spiritual practitioner embodies a blend of tradition, modernity, and the deep-seated beliefs of Buddhism that resonate profoundly within Thai society. Imagine walking along the riverbanks of Thailand, where you might encounter this extraordinary woman, gracefully navigating her way through life on water. To float is to be free, she often says, reflecting her belief that true liberation comes from letting go, not only of material possessions, but also of the burdens we carry within. Floating monks are not just an anomaly. They represent a rich history rooted in the monastic traditions of Buddhism. This particular monk woman has taken on a role that is both unconventional and captivating. Her journey began like many others, an exploration of self and spirituality, but it evolved into something uniquely her own. She chose to live a life devoted to meditation, mindfulness, and service, while embracing the elements of nature that surround her. Her home, a simple yet serene vessel, allows her to connect intimately with nature. Each morning begins with meditation as the sun rises over the horizon, casting golden reflections on the water's surface. Each day involves chanting, prayers, and offerings made to the spirits of the river, an act that honors both her spiritual practice and environmental respect. The water serves as both her sanctuary and source of wisdom, reminding her and those around her of life's fluidity and interconnectedness. Despite living off the beaten path, this floating monk woman remains deeply connected to her community. Villagers often approach her for guidance or blessings, seeking solace in her presence. She conducts ceremonies on floating platforms where she imparts wisdom drawn from Buddhist teachings, lessons about compassion, impermanence, and mindfulness. Number 12. The 200-year-old mummified monk in Mongolia. Recently discovered in the lotus position, the monk's body is believed to be 200 years old. This monk's body has intrigued scientists and spiritualists alike, sparking discussions about the limits of human endurance and spiritual power. The most intriguing part of this discovery isn't just how well preserved the monk is, but why he might be so well preserved. Some Buddhist practitioners and scholars believe that the monk could be in a state called tukdam. Tukdam is thought to be a deep meditative state where advanced practitioners can exist between life and death for long periods. Dr. Barry Kurzin, a physician to the Dalai Lama, has mentioned that monks in Tukdam show very little signs of decay for weeks or even years after their supposed death. It's as if they are paused in time, living on another level entirely. The Mongolian monk's body supports this mysterious phenomenon, with its incredible preservation defying normal biological expectations. From a scientific perspective, it pushes research into human biology under extreme conditions. How does someone achieve such preservation without modern embalming transforming methods. Could understanding these processes reveal new insights into aging or medical science? For those seeking spiritual growth and practice, this finding reinforces long-held beliefs about meditation's transformative power. It suggests that through disciplined practice, one might go beyond ordinary physical limits, reaching states that blur the lines between life and death. Number 11. Shu Yun. Shu Yun, also known as Empty Cloud, is a fascinating figure in Chinese monastic history. Born in 1840 and reportedly living until 1959, his life spanned over an astounding 119 years, making him one of the most long-lived monks ever documented. Shu Yun's extraordinary lifespan is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the mysteries surrounding him. Known for his deeply spiritual nature and profound meditation practices, he was said to have entered states of meditation that lasted for days, weeks, and even months. His prolonged periods of contemplation were often accompanied by tales of mystical experiences, encounters with divine beings, and profound insights into the nature of existence. Amidst political upheaval and social turmoil, Shu Yun dedicated himself to restoring ancient monastic temples that had fallen into disrepair. His efforts were not merely about rebuilding structures, but revitalizing the spiritual essence within them. Imagine walking through a temple that had been resurrected from ruins by someone whose meditative prowess could seemingly alter reality itself. It's almost as if each stone and beam held a fragment of his enduring spirit. Shu Yun's resilience extended beyond brick and mortar. He promoted Buddhism during times when China was grappling with significant political changes. His teachings emphasized Chan Zen practice, advocating for direct experience over theoretical understanding, a principle that resonated deeply with those seeking solace amidst chaos. "Do not say that meditation is useless," Shu Yun once remarked during one of his rare public discourses. "It is through meditation that we uncover the very fabric of our being." Number 10. Lama Tenzin, the living Buddha of Gue. Lama Tenzin was a Buddhist monk believed to have died in the 1500s. His remains, naturally mummified, were discovered in 1975 in Gue, a small village located in the Spiti Valley of Himachal Pradesh, India. This village, situated near the line of actual control, is now home to Tenzin's tomb, which stands as a significant historical and spiritual site. Remarkably, Tenzin's body is the only naturally mummified Buddhist monk in India, having been preserved without chemical intervention through a process known as self-mummification. The story of Lama Tenzin took an intriguing turn when his mummy was inadvertently buried during an earthquake, leading to its rediscovery by Indo-Tibetan border police personnel in 2004 while they were constructing roads in the area. When found, the monk's remains were remarkably preserved within a thick glass box. Let's look into the life of Lama. Originally from Tibet, Tenzin made his way to Gue at the age of 45 to devote himself to meditation. According to local folklore, he sacrificed his life for the protection of the village from scorpions. Legend has it that upon his death, a rainbow appeared in the sky, symbolizing that his spirit had liberated the villagers from their plight with these creatures forever. Consequently, many locals revere Tenzin's mummy as a living god, believing that his hair and nails continue to grow even after death. This notion of him being referred to as a living Buddha reflects not only reverence, but also highlights the deep spiritual beliefs held by local communities regarding mummified monks. The tale further enriches the narrative surrounding Tenzin's life and death. It embodies themes of devotion and sacrifice deeply rooted in Tibetan Buddhist culture. Number 9. Bodhidharma, the father of Zen Buddhism. Bodhidharma, the mysterious sage from India, embarked on a journey to China in the 5th century with one goal: to introduce what would later be known as Zen Buddhism. His mission was met with both interest and resistance. Bodhidharma's travels were far from easy. They were filled with obstacles. When he arrived in China, he encountered a culture that was initially doubtful of his teachings. However, it was his unwavering commitment to meditation that began to draw attention. Instead of delivering elaborate speeches, Bodhidharma encouraged direct experience over theoretical understanding. This approach struck a chord with those who were open-minded enough to explore beyond traditional religious practices. The story of Bodhidharma's 9-year meditation facing a wall is legendary. Imagine this: a solitary figure in deep stillness, staring at a blank wall day after day for years on end. This wasn't just about physical endurance, it was an experiment in reaching the deepest layers of consciousness. This act of unwavering focus and discipline became emblematic of Zen's core philosophy: enlightenment through personal personal experience rather than intellectual discourse. The transformative power of his teachings lies in their simplicity and directness. By stripping away unnecessary elements and focusing on the essence of meditation, Bodhidharma established principles that continue to resonate with modern practitioners seeking clarity in an often chaotic world. But there's more to this enigmatic monk than just his meditative prowess. Bodhidharma also played an unexpected role in shaping Shaolin Kung Fu. You might wonder how someone so devoted to spiritual practices ended up influencing martial arts. According to legend, when Bodhidharma noticed the monks at the Shaolin temple struggling with their physical health due to long periods of inactivity during meditation, he introduced exercises designed to strengthen both body and mind. These exercises evolved into what we now recognize as Shaolin Kung Fu, a disciplined practice that combines physical strength with mental clarity. This fusion created a unique bridge between martial arts and spirituality, highlighting that nurturing the mind doesn't exclude taking care of the body. Number 8. Tenzin Palo. Tenzin Palo's journey is truly remarkable. She is a living Buddhist nun who spent 12 years meditating in a remote Himalayan cave, embodying the dedication and mystical appeal that surrounds some of the world's most respected monastic figures. Visualize leaving behind all worldly comforts to embrace the austerity of cave life at an altitude where oxygen is scarce and winters are brutally harsh. That was Tenzin Palo's reality as she embarked on her quest for enlightenment. Her dedication to meditation in the Himalayas represents a deep commitment to spiritual growth. Her story becomes even more fascinating when considering the mystical aspects of her journey. Spending over a decade in near-complete solitude wasn't just an exercise in physical endurance, it was a profound inner voyage aimed at achieving spiritual transcendence. The remote cave became her sanctuary, where she faced not only the elements but also the depths of her own mind. This intense period of meditation allowed Tenzin Palo to explore realms of consciousness that few can even imagine. What makes Tenzin Palo unique isn't just her incredible feats of endurance, but also her pioneering role in breaking barriers for women in Tibetan monasticism. In a tradition historically dominated by men, she has emerged as one of the most respected contemporary figures in Buddhism. Her efforts have been crucial in advocating for equal opportunities for nuns, making significant progress towards gender equality within monastic communities. She founded Dongyu Gatsal Ling Nunnery to provide education and training for young nuns, ensuring that future generations benefit from opportunities she had to fight hard for. Number 7. Honan. Honan was the founder of the Pure Land school of Buddhism in Japan, known for his radical spiritual beliefs that challenged centuries of tradition. He was a trailblazer who dared to question the status quo with his revolutionary ideas. Honan, born in 1133, stands out as a pivotal figure in Japanese Buddhism. His story began like many monks, with rigorous studies and deep contemplation. However, what sets him apart is his founding of the Pure Land school of Buddhism. At its core, this school emphasized salvation through faith rather than arduous practices or intellectual pursuits. This was a groundbreaking shift from existing Buddhist traditions which often demanded rigorous self-discipline and meditation. One might wonder how someone so deeply entrenched in Buddhist doctrine could propose something so radically different. Honan did just that by advocating for Nembutsu, the practice of chanting Namu Amida Butsu, which translates to "I take refuge in Amida Buddha." He believed that simply calling upon Amitabha Buddha's name with sincere faith was enough to achieve rebirth in the Pure Land, a realm free from suffering and conducive to attaining enlightenment. This idea wasn't just radical, it was seen as heretical by many contemporaries. Yet, Honan persisted, facing numerous challenges and even periods of exile. His unwavering commitment to his beliefs invites a sense of mystery around his inner strength and conviction. Honan's legacy is monumental. By democratizing Buddhism, he made spiritual salvation accessible to everyone, not just monks or scholars. His teachings resonated deeply with ordinary people who found solace in the idea that faith alone could lead them to enlightenment. The Pure Land School became one of Japan's most influential Buddhist sects, shaping the spiritual landscape for centuries to come. Devotion replaced rigorous practices. Faith took precedence over intellectual understanding. This shift had profound implications, making Buddhism more inclusive and compassionate. Number 6. Galwa Karmapa. In the peaceful hills of Tibet, where the air is thin, but the spiritual presence is strong. There's a figure both revered and mysterious, the Galwa Karmapa, often called the Black Hat Lama. His title alone makes you wonder, doesn't it? As the leader of the Karma Kagyu school of Tibetan Buddhism, Galwa Karmapa plays a crucial role in Tibet's spiritual scene. This lineage, started in the 12th century by Dusum Khyentse, has produced a series of reincarnated leaders who are believed to embody wisdom and compassion from lifetime to lifetime. The current Karmapa continues this legacy, guiding countless practitioners on their spiritual journeys. One of the most mysterious things about Galwa Karmapa is the Black Hat ceremony. There's a legend that says the hat was made from celestial hair given by Dakinis, female spirits in Tibetan Buddhism. During this ritual, the Karmapa wears the black hat to show his unique ability to control negative forces and offer blessings. People who have seen these ceremonies describe an almost otherworldly atmosphere, believing in mystical powers attributed to both the hat and its wearer. Another mystery lies in his role as a reincarnated Lama. Recognizing a new Karmapa involves complex rituals and signs that identify the right child to continue the lineage's profound teachings. This cycle of rebirth and recognition adds an intriguing element to his spiritual authority, making each Karmapa not just a leader, but a living embodiment of centuries-old wisdom. Galwa Karmapa's leadership goes beyond spiritual teachings. His influence reaches various parts of Tibetan culture and religious practices. For instance, he played a vital role in preserving Buddhist scriptures and promoting peace during difficult times in Tibetan history. Each reincarnation brings with it fresh perspectives while adhering to core principles established by previous Karmapas. This remarkable continuity ensures that ancient wisdom remains vibrant and relevant for modern practitioners. The current 17th Karmapa, Ogyen Trinley Dorje, has embraced contemporary issues like environmentalism and social justice, demonstrating how timeless principles can address current global challenges. Subscriber's pick. The picture you're looking at seems straight out of a dream. 4 monks, their faces almost mummified, sitting in deep meditation in a barren, desolate landscape. Their expressions are calm and peaceful, but the big question lingers. Are they dead or alive? These monks appear to be suspended between worlds, mastering spiritual techniques far beyond ordinary comprehension. Known for pushing the boundaries of what the human body can endure, monks like these show us just how deep the mind can dive into the mysteries of life and death. But what do you think? Could these monks still be alive, or are they simply remnants of their spiritual practice? Let us know in the comment section below. Number 5. Sri Ramakrishna. Ever heard of someone who explored multiple religions and found the divine in each? Meet Sri Ramakrishna, a mystic whose spiritual journey reads like an epic tale of devotion, ecstasy, and universal love. Sri Ramakrishna's name might sound familiar, especially if you know about the Ramakrishna movement. Born as Gadadhar Chattopadhyay in 1836 in Bengal, India, this humble priest transformed into a spiritual leader whose influence continues to resonate through generations. His life wasn't just about rituals or doctrines, it was living proof of the idea that all paths ultimately lead to the same divine truth. His mystical experiences weren't confined to Hinduism alone. This remarkable sage explored Christianity and Islam, embodying their spiritual essences with astonishing fervor. Sri Ramakrishna worshipped goddess Kali with childlike devotion, often entering states of blissful trance where he claimed direct communication with the Divine Mother. In his explorations, he meditated on Christ and had visions that led him to embrace Jesus as one of his own. He didn't stop there. He even adopted Islamic practices for a period, experiencing Allah's presence within his heart. These experiences were not merely intellectual exercises, but vivid encounters that left a lasting impact on his followers. Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are like a soothing balm for troubled souls seeking comfort across cultural and religious divides. He preached the idea of Sarva Dharma Sambhava, the harmony of all religions, long before it became a popular notion. His disciple Swami Vivekananda carried forth this universal message, establishing the Ramakrishna Mission in 1897. This movement aimed at promoting Vedanta philosophy while engaging in humanitarian activities worldwide. His approach wasn't about converting others to his viewpoint, but encouraging them to delve deeper into their own traditions to find the divine spark within. Number 4. MAA Lotsawa. Imagine the monumental task of translating sacred texts brimming with profound wisdom from one ancient language to another. This was the life mission of MAA Lotsawa, a revered figure in Tibetan Buddhism. Born in Lotrak, Tibet in 1012, MAPA's journey was anything but ordinary. His role as a translator went beyond mere linguistic skill. It required a deep and nuanced understanding of Buddhist teachings. MAPA's translations became the cornerstone for spreading Buddhist doctrine throughout Tibet. Every word he translated translated from Sanskrit to Tibetan, carried a world of meaning, making these texts accessible to countless practitioners. The gravity of his work earned him the title Lotsawa, which means great translator. Embarking on rigorous training under various masters in India, Marpa's journey was fraught with extraordinary experiences. He studied under the great Indian guru Naropa and other illustrious teachers, often facing trials that tested his resolve and dedication. The echoes of Marpa's influence resonate through the ages, particularly in his role as the founder of the Kagyu school of Tibetan Buddhism. But perhaps his most profound legacy is seen through his disciple, Milarepa. Under Marpa's guidance, Milarepa transformed from a haunted man burdened by dark deeds into one of Tibet's most venerated yogis. Through Milarepa, Marpa's teachings found wings, soaring across generations and inspiring countless seekers on their path to enlightenment. The relationship between Marpa and Milarepa wasn't just that of a master and disciple, it was a soul connection that mirrored Marpa's transformative journey. It showed the world that redemption and enlightenment are attainable through unwavering dedication and spiritual guidance. Number 3. Milarepa. Milarepa's life is a gripping tale of drama and transformation. Born into a wealthy family in Tibet, his early years were marked by tragedy and revenge. After his father's death, his inheritance was stolen, leading him down a dark path of black magic and destruction. This turbulent past, filled with deep regret, eventually became the driving force behind his remarkable change. Seeking redemption, Milarepa turned to Buddhism under the guidance of MAA Lotsawa. The road to spiritual awakening was paved with intense challenges. To atone for his past sins, Milarepa undertook grueling tasks set by MAPA, each more daunting than the last. These trials were not merely physical, but deeply spiritual, purging him of karmic debts and preparing him for a life devoted to meditation. Imagine spending years in the remote caves of the Himalayas, where Milarepa engaged in extreme ascetic practices and deep meditation. His dedication was unwavering. He meditated through harsh winters and scorching summers, often subsisting on minimal food and water. It was within these secluded stone walls that he achieved profound realizations about the nature of suffering and enlightenment. During these solitary years, Milarepa composed powerful poetry that has echoed through centuries like whispers from those ancient caves. His verses are beyond beautiful expressions of his realizations, but also serve as a guiding light for others on their spiritual journey. Through these poems, he conveyed complex Buddhist teachings in simple yet profound ways. Milarepa's poetry radiates with an authenticity born out of personal experience and intense practice, effectively bridging the gap between scholarly teachings and lived wisdom. Number 2. Brother Frederick Collins. Brother Frederick Collins, a name synonymous with enduring faith and resilience, is a beacon of inspiration within the monastic community. As one of America's oldest monks, his extraordinary longevity defies the conventional barriers associated with aging, proving that true commitment to a life of prayerful solitude and communal service knows no bounds. Situated in the serene surroundings of the Abbey of Gethsemane, Brother Frederick's life story is nothing short of remarkable. Imagine waking up every day not just to the tranquil rhythm of monastic life, but also to the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and active engagement with fellow monks. This has been Brother Frederick's reality for decades, embodying a spirit of adaptability that clearly illustrates how vibrant monastic communities can be. Brother Frederick was remarkable for his ability to remain actively involved in all aspects of monastic life. Despite the physical limitations that come with advanced age, he continues to participate fully in the Abbey's activities, demonstrating an inspiring level of adaptability. His presence at the Abbey of Gethsemane serves as a powerful reminder that spiritual devotion transcends physical constraints. For those who have had the privilege to meet him or hear his story, Brother Frederick embodies the timeless essence of monkhood, an unyielding commitment to faith, community, and personal growth. Number 1. Saint Anthony the Great. Saint Anthony the Great, often hailed as the father of Christian monasticism, embarked on a journey that would echo through the annals of spiritual history. Born in Egypt around 251 AD, Anthony chose a path less traveled, one that led him deep into the solitude of the Egyptian desert. In his early 20s, after hearing a gospel message about giving up worldly possessions, Anthony sold all he had and retreated into the wilderness. His life of seclusion wasn't just about escape, it was an intense quest for spiritual purity. Over 2 decades decades in isolation, he honed an ascetic lifestyle that would become the bedrock of Christian monastic traditions. If you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. This gospel passage profoundly impacted Anthony. Anthony's retreat wasn't simply an exercise in solitude, it was a confrontation with both internal and external demons. These legendary battles were beyond metaphorical struggles, but vivid encounters that tested his faith and resolve. Accounts describe how he faced terrifying visions and demonic apparitions, emerging victorious through unwavering prayer and steadfast belief. His commitment to achieving spiritual purity saw him battling fierce temptations and demonic entities that sought to break his resolve. Yet each confrontation strengthened his spiritual fortitude, making him a beacon of resilience for those seeking divine truth. Anthony's influence extended far beyond his lifetime. His way of life inspired countless individuals to pursue asceticism, a rigorous lifestyle devoid of material excesses, in search of closer communion with God. The principles he lived by became foundational to monastic communities. Pilgrims sought his wisdom, leading him to mentor other hermits who would later establish monasteries across Europe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.